I have a confession to make. I don't speak Hindi in front of other Indian immigrants in Canada, and there's more to it than racism, languageism, or casteism. And I want to talk about this in this video. This is day 17 of me talking in camera challenge. I hadn't made any video in last 15 days because my exam was there and I'm started doing more shifts than I was doing before. Let's talk about this thing first here. I think of it like that language is one of the biggest invention that human ever made. Using that thing, we can communicate our needs, our emotion, our ideologies, our arguments, and our anything that is essential for the survival of mankind. As we all know, there was some few languages that started, and then it just made become many branches of it. Indo-European languages, the root languages, and these languages the native people speak here, they are also root languages, similar to that what Arabic people speak, Arabic, Farsi, and all those small languages that they speak there. The Syrian language that the Jesus used to speak. There was one more language that just Jesus used to speak, and there's like a small village in a valley that the people there still speak that language. Anyhow, my father always told me that speaking language or speaking in general clearly will make you a better person, a better leader, and a better human in general, because then people understand what you are thinking about, what you want to say. But what I felt is, even though people speak English here, they don't speak the English that other people understand, aka they are still speaking the official way of speaking English that our school taught us back in India. And I was talking about this thing with my psychologist, to him I was seeing lately, and I mentioned to him that not to him, to his assistant, uh, that I think I should work more on my accent so that other person can understand me better or in a better way. Obviously she's a Canadian, so she said, "Oh, you don't have to change yourself. You can be however you want, and people gonna understand you. And if the other person want to understand yourself, like me, then they should work harder to understand you rather than you are working harder to make yourself understand to them." And I think that thing is completely bullshit. Hold on. I know this thing can trigger some people, but I think it's in the hand of the person, the narrator, to make its best effort in order to communicate what he wants to say. From the Shakespeare to the new poets we have, or like from the singers that we used to have, Lata Mangeshkar, Muhammad Rafi, to Drake and Weekend, all those people have this one thing in common: the power of narration. But uh, see, I'm not trying to make fun of any Indian here. I'm also an Indian, so I think I can do that policing here. Whenever if you go to a Starbucks, if you're a white person, you don't understand what they are saying when you are in that, the thing, the drive-through. And it's not that they don't want to understand you. See, they understand that we come from a place that didn't have that many opportunities. That's why we are here. But the thing is, I think the Indians, especially who came after 2020, really forgot that they are going to a different country and they should adapt. I was watching a video, and there was a real estate, like big real estate guy in Bangalore, and he said that if you know how to lean, then you will never break. AKA, if you know how to adapt yourself, you will always strive through. And that's the rule of nature. The person or the species who adapt themselves gonna stay here forever. We used to have Neanderthals, right? But they are not here anymore. And the thing is, I think their English is getting worse because the way they speak, even I cannot understand them. The words they are speaking are just too thick. The pronunciation is not right. They don't use the hand gestures, and their face is always sad that they have, how can I describe, they are slave to this country. But the truth is they choose to be here, they choose to do all these jobs, and they choose to do a customer service job. Then why don't, see, I understand one thing, the customer service job, it means you have to serve the customer should feel happy, even from the Starbucks, from Tim Hortons, McDonald's, and all that. And one more thing, if you are an Indian, they're going to treat you like garbage. You can see that on their face. They're like, whatever, whatever. They don't treat you in a good way. I don't understand why. This is the only thing with Indian immigrants here. Indian immigrants just don't like other immigrant who is thriving here. See, I have a Filipino friends, and they talk with them so nicely, and their community is so knitted together that they work harder. They learn the accent, they speak the way that we understand. That's why we all like the Filipino people here, because we know they do things rather than the Indians who doesn't want to change themselves. They are crying here. All these Indian immigrants that we see on social media buying the newest car, they are crying here because they cannot sustain themselves in this fake lavish life that they have adopted. And one more thing, it's just not Indian immigrants in general. The new immigrants are doing this exact same thing. Because if you see, Indians are coming to this continent, to this country from 200 years, give and take. And like my ancestors were Haryanvi, and our, I don't know, Haryanvis and Punjabis, we used to have the same continent. Let's call them Haryanvi Punjabis. So Haryanvis and Punjabis always came to this country. They didn't had any cell phone, no internet, nothing whatsoever, but they used to stay here under this flag, the Union Jack. That was the only thing that was protecting them to be in this country, and they felt like English. I think you have to be a Canadian if you want to live in Canada. Getting a PR or getting a passport doesn't mean that you are a Canadian. You can only be a Canadian if you understand how Canada was built and what Canada really is. You have to work on yourself. You have to speak in the way that other person understands you. That's the whole point of speaking a language. Okay, tell me why the government had put this IELTS thing on the work permit. Why? And why they are making it harder and harder for other people to come here? Because they understand that the people they wanted here, the doctors, the lawyers, they wanted to make this world, this country a mecca. But the people who came here are those bogus college degree holders who think that somehow Canada is easier to live. I was doing, so I'm working at a front desk in a hotel just for summers, trying to save some cash there. And there was a guy from Calgary, and he came here in 2016 or something. And he was quite drunk. He is Indian, Punjabi, like us. So he was saying to me that people die like dogs in Canada, and you and me also gonna die the same. Of course, he was quite emotional, and he started crying about different things. And he's saying that he's just gonna go back. Why these people are going back? Because they just don't want to change themselves. See, you have to make two versions of yourself. One is that other people accept you, and it's not that you have to forget all your Punjabi things or your Haryanvi things or whatever you are saying. I'm closely attached to these genre of people. That's why I can talk about them. But you have to just understand how Canada is. You have to go and watch NHL, the ice hockey. You have to eat poutine. You have to learn the Canadian national anthem. You have to understand all those things. Why you don't have any white friends, I may ask. It's just because you never want to change yourself. And the God will never give you the things you want unless you change yourself. God always gives things to those species who change themselves. The Indians who used to come here, they even try to be Canadian or American, but now my fellas, they don't want to change themselves. And I can say that thing because I feel that way. And if I speak Hindi in front of a Punjabi person, Haryanvis are fine with me. They are those cutie pies, they understand who I am. But those Punjabis, what they do is, if I start to speak Hindi in front of them, and let's say they are from Surrey, they will try their best to put me and to feel me like a garbage. And they're going, oh, so you're an Indian, and okay, so you are just like us, and you're just trying to be that fake person. Even though this is just who I am. My name is English. My last name is French. I'm a full Canadian boy. English and French, that's the spirit of Canada. You have to understand those things. And even if you learn French just to stay here, you will never be a Canadian because you are not learning that language from heart. You have to understand the Canadian spirit. That Canadian spirit is the only thing that is sustaining this North America here. Americans are killing everything. Canada is the future because Canada will be the superpower. If you want to join, stay in this country and work for this nation like a true Canadian. You become Canadian long before you get your PR or your passport. That's the thing that I wanted to say. I was thinking about that from quite a lot of days. I know this video can be longer, but I'm just talking about the truth. And it's just not me. I think Indians in general, they talk about that, oh, we never had a caste system, and the caste system just came from Portuguese, casta, and that the Britishers just put that thing on us. But we were the one who is wearing it still now. We still talk about those things. Even a person who's from scheduled caste, we won't even hang out with that person. Or a person who's from Bihar or Jharkhand, we don't want to hang out with those people. Even if a Sikh person who has lived in New Delhi, we don't want to hang out with that person just because he's just not from the same place that we came. Then why the hell you came to this country? Why didn't you stay in that shithole that we were before? That's the truth. That place is just getting bad and bad and bad. India used to be a superpower. India used to be the guru, but now it's not. And we made that place like that. It's not the British. It's not the Mughals. It's just the own peoples. It's the spirit of India. It's just getting greedier and greedier the more I'm talking about this. We all came to Canada to be a Canadian, to live a Canadian dream, not to flex our bi-weekly Mustang here on the internet. Let's be honest, everybody knows how you got that car, bro, or that iPhone that you have. See, I have an iPhone. I used to work in Apple store, and long before my friends had iPhone, I used to have iPhone, but I still use a keypad phone here. Why? Because I understand that that thing is not the true success. The true success is the only thing that matters, and that is to have a good community, to work for the community, and to work for yourself. Only then you can be happy, or else you have to go back long before your visa expires. This country will judge you. This country will put you in that space that want to test you how good you are. Many people are like, oh damn, I didn't knew that I have to work so much. Guess what? That's what your ancestors did. That's what my ancestors did. And that's what Canadians did. From making not intercontinental, from one east coast to west coast, that big rail thing that we made in Canada, and to making this union of states of Canada that we call a good country. Our ancestors, the Canadians, the First Nations, we all did to save this country. You have to be a Canadian in order to live in Canada. You have to change yourself. Look into your mirror and say, am I a Canadian enough? But if you think that you cannot change yourself, then I think India is good for you. And India is growing. Maybe will be a superpower, not in my lifetime, but maybe in my grandkids. I think that's more than fine for this video. I don't know if anyone gonna watch this video, but the person who is watching gonna understand what I'm trying to say. You have to be a Canadian in order to live in Canada. And this is the place where I felt home before any other country that I ever lived. Canada is the home, and Canada is the superpower, and Canada will win. You're a Canadian, stay here. If you're not a Canadian, put your uh, adulthood in the country that you find yourself with, connected with. See you in the next video.